Alright, so this is how to beat the Graydles. So we know the Graydles are monsters with the effect of being able to steal your opponent's monsters. If the Graydle monster dies as auto battle in the monster zone, or dies by a monster effect in Eagle's case, by a trap effect in Cobra's case, or by a spell effect like in Alligator's case. Currently, the only Graydles that don't have those abilities is Graydle Slime and Graydle Dragon. But they don't need it, right? Obviously. Since these effects do target a face-up monster your opponent controls, that's a way you can defeat the Graydles, by using monsters and cards that make it where your monsters can't be targeted, so that way they can't be stolen. You know, we got a couple powerful monsters that have protection that can't be targeted, like the Mighty Obelisk, the Tormentor himself. This card cannot be targeted. It's a nice little 4,000. So your opponent's definitely not going to want to try to attack this with a monster like Cobra, because Cobra only has 1,000, so they'll take 3,000 and still not be able to take Obelisk. If they attack with Graydle Alligator, they'll take 3,500 and still not be able to take Obelisk. And they could attack with Graydle Eagle, and that would be 2,500 points of damage and still not be able to take Obelisk. So Obelisk is obviously a really good card against Graydles, because you don't have to worry about the Graydles trying to steal it. But you're more likely not playing an Egyptian God deck, right? But you might be playing Cosmos, and Cosmo Forerunner has the ability where he cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects. So right there, you already have a main deck solution for the Graydles. And it has other abilities, but the main thing we're focusing on is on his can't be targeted effect, which is great against the Graydles. We have the Djinn Demolisher of Rituals. For any deck that Ritual summons, this is a pretty decent Djinn to use, because it will make it where the Ritual monster using this as material for its Ritual summon cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. So that's something to keep in mind. If you play Ice Barriers, face-up Ice Barrier monsters you control cannot be targeted by the effects of your opponent's effect monsters. Right? So he is a face-up Ice Barrier monster, so he won't be able to be targeted by their effects. But typically, that part doesn't really matter, because he'll be in defense mode anyway, so it's not like they can cause themselves to resolve battle and steal your monster. But this will protect your other face-up Ice Barrier monsters that are in attack mode from being able to be targeted, so something to keep in mind. But Majesty's Fiend cannot be special summon. Monsters' effects cannot be activated. These Graydle effects are effects, and this will make it where they don't activate. So if you main deck this or side deck this, either way, it's something useful. But the main idea is that, you know, these cards should be main decked, or pretty much are main decked in most decks, so you automatically have an out to the Graydles. Dark Ruler Hades for any classic Fiend duelist or anybody who likes Dark Ruler Hades. Negate the effects of effect monsters destroyed by battle with Fiend type monsters you control. Not only he gives this to himself, he also gives it to your other Fiend type monsters, just in case you decide to splash this in your Burning Abyss deck, you know what I mean? Well, granted, your Burning Abyss monsters won't survive if he's on the field, but you get the idea. You can put it in other Fiend decks. Burning Abyss was a bad idea, but he's a 24/50 deck. When he destroys a monster as all battle, it negates its effects. So this is good against Graydles. Graydles, when they die as all battle or by a card effect of a certain type, they become spell cards, and they go in your spell and trap zone. They're treated as equipped spell cards. Since they are, you can MST them, obviously. So that way you don't have to worry about your opponent attacking you. Let's say you have a monster in attack mode You have an MST phase now. Alright, they summon a Graydle, they attack, they take a little damage, they steal your monster, and then they try to attack you. MST the Graydle, now they can't attack you with your own monster. So that's a way you can defend yourself against Graydles. You know, if you have a way to constantly destroy Graydle monsters during your opponent's turn, that's the way you can defend yourself from the little suicide Graydle snatching, whatever it's called, right? Galaxy Cyclone, good for after they retook your monster, and this is in the graveyard. You can banish it and target the Graydle card in that spell trap zone and destroy it, and your monster will be destroyed, and you don't have to worry about your opponent attacking you with your own monster. Red screen is good to prevent them from attacking your monsters. At least long enough that you can summon something like an Obelisk or something you don't have to worry about protecting, because it protects itself, and then just start beating your opponent. Safe zone, pretty good because it has the ability where it makes it where your opponent can't target it. So you give this to one of your monsters, and now you have a nice little monster that can't be targeted, so you can use it to attack your opponent's Graydles and make them useless. You know, essentially this, you know, is a good generic card if you don't want to use any of the other stuff. This would be a good card to you know, splash, main deck or side deck it, whichever way you choose to play it. But it is a good main deck card. You can main deck it. Doesn't hurt you to play it. But it's useful, you know, if you're going up against Graydles. Not only does it have that effect, it also has the ability where the monster can't be destroyed by battle or by opponent's card effects. So you don't have to worry about stuff like Dark Hole, Mirror Force. Definitely don't have to worry about Mirror Force when you're trying to attack a Graydle or a Deep Prison, since Deep Prison targets, and so on and so on. So obviously it's a really, really good card in that regards. But the main reason using it is to make it where Graydles can't steal your monster, or at least can't steal the one you targeted with Safe Zone. The only issue with Safe Zone in that scenario is that you can't attack your opponent directly. So you're going to have another monster that can't attack your opponent directly. Hopefully it's a monster that's weaker than the monster you Safe Zone, so that way even if they do steal your weaker monster, it's your weaker monster. You'll just attack the weaker monster and deal them damage anyway and just keep on going. Continuing on, if you don't have any of these things main deck, you can probably have these things extra decked. Armides, Keeper of Illusions. If this card attacks or is attacked, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step, which is good against Graydles and Burning Abyss and Yang Zines and Shaddolls and so on and so on. You get the idea. So Battle Fader, so on and so on. So it's a really good effect. It's a level 5 synchro. Most decks can easily make that, so it's a nice 2300 that can make Graydles relatively useless. Whether you attack them or they attack you. Star Eater's not on this list because Star Eater's effect is only really effective when he attacks. When he is attacked, he has no ability, so he can be stolen, and then you have to deal with a 3200 that you really can't fuck with, because when it attacks, it is immune to all your other card effects. So that makes it devastating. Double check something that I was just thinking about in my head right now. Would Star Eater make the Graydle's effect null and void? When this card attacks, it is unaffected by other card effects until the damage step. I don't know what would happen. I have not tried the Star Eater scenario. Maybe I should do that someday. Test it out. Or you could test it out yourself, of course. Test out to see if stealing a Graydle, using a Graydle to steal Star Eater, and then seeing when you attack with Star Eater, will it cause some weird effect where Star Eater doesn't finish his attack because he's unaffected by the effect of the Graydle monster that's equipped to him, so he should essentially go back to your opponent. It's similar to it if you snatch steal him and then attack, will it switch over to his side of the field, kind of negating your attack? So then it's just like, it's a mess scenario. If that's the case, then yes, Star Eater would technically be a viable option. The only uselessness of it, of course, is the fact that they still have your 3200. You know, because after you finish attacking, he'll return to your side of the field. You know, if you're the one who has the Graydle attached to it. So I don't know. I haven't tested it out. It's just a game theory, right? A card game theory. All right, so something to keep in mind. All right, moving on. But to simplify it, that's why it's not on the list, right? So you see the idea. But this, whether he's attacked or he attacks, his effect will apply, and that's what matters. Protector Leo, the keeper of the sacred trees, he can't be targeted except during your main phase 2. But since all this is all battle phase related, he can't be targeted, which is important. A 3100 it can't be targeted. You know, which is almost as good as Obelisk, right? So this will be useful against them, of course. Then we have Yazi, Evil of the Yang Zings. First part of his effect is cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects. So all you really need. The other effects are useful, but all you really need is his can't be targeted effect. So you have a 2600 synchro, they can't be targeted. If you play what is it, quick draw synchron deck or some stuff like that, right? Or turbo warriors, turbo synchro deck, whatever you want to call it. If you can manage to create this, which should be relatively easy if you use quick draw synchron and a 1-star too, you can make this. And when this card attacks a level 6 or higher a monster, half the attack, blah blah. That part doesn't matter. This part does. This card cannot be targeted by the effects of level 6 or lower monsters. Graydles are level 3, so they're under the level 6 thing, so they can't target him, which is great. So if you have a quick drawn synchron Lavabo Quasar deck, did I say Lavabo? I meant quick draw Lavabo, quick draw Quasar or synchron Quasar deck. You know, you might want to splash in a turbo warrior just in case, especially if you can't get Quasar out fast enough, right? Because, you know, even Quasar, if you can make Quasar in a Stardust Assault mode, relatively these cards can, since they can negate the effect of the Graydles, they effectively can be useful, obviously. Maybe I might just throw them up here right quick. Let me see, where's Quasar? Anything that can negate, you know what I mean? Quasar, if you can make Quasar. Notorious Beast and wouldn't really work unless they rule it that it does, but it really shouldn't work. It's technically a monster effect. Would Landois work? Yeah, technically it should. Landois should work. What is this? Doka? Doka should work, right? Throw in Doka there. He can negate monster effects. You can use Divine Wrath, but you want stuff that's a little more consistent, stuff that consistently happen and could apply. So you could, you know, did I say assault mode earlier? I guess I just Stardust, and there's the assault mode. You get it, bang, there you go. Stardust assault mode. Obviously, if you can make them, you can rape the Graydles with that, because you'll negate their effects after you attack the Graydle monster, and vice versa. Doka, pretty much the same thing. Once they activate their effect, detach material, negate it. Haze Beast Basilisk, or Hazy Flame Basilisk, Basilisk Trice. Alright, Basilisk Trice, when he has 4 or more material, he cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effect. So you want to give him, you know, make it where he has 4 materials and that he can't be targeted. Now you have a nice little 2500 can't be targeted. But also the monsters, the Hazy Beast, the Hazy Flame Beast monsters in your deck already have the ability that can't be targeted, so you already got a benefit. So if you're running Hazy Flames, then you already got a defense against Graydles. Moving on. Trap Chicks Rafflesia. She can't protect herself, but she'll be in defense mode anyway. But she does have the ability to make it where your Trap Tricks monsters cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects. So that's useful to make it where your other Trap Trick monsters cannot be targeted in case you run a Trap Tricks deck or a Trap Tricks engine or whatever. Number 49, Fortune Tune. I just threw it in there because he has the effect of can't be targeted by a card effect, but it really doesn't matter because he's weak already. So, you know, he won't be in attack mode anyway. He'll mainly be in defense mode. so it'll be kind of pointless. But I just put out the fact that you can't be targeted just in case. Whatevs, right? I actually didn't read this effect. I just noticed it was in the list of cards that can't be targeted. But it does say it must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Cannot be targeted by opponent's card effect. Alright, so the first line of text makes it where it cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects. Yeah. And then, that's good. You have a 2800, can't be targeted, and he's a Burning Abyss. So if you're running the Burning Abyss fusion variant, then there you go. You got yourself an out to the Graydles. If you just happen to have a deck where you can make this bad boy or summons or find a way to special summon him onto the field, this card cannot be targeted by or destroyed by the effects of monsters. So it's a nice 3500 that can't be targeted. Landoys, you can discard a spell from your hand, negate the effect of a monster effect. Quasar can once per turn can negate the effect of a card, so you can use that to beat the Graydles. Supply Squad is good to use in the Graydles since you're constantly having them die as a result of battle to steal your opponent's monsters, so might as well get a +1 out of it, right? And you should pretty much know what the Graydles can do. And that's the end of the video.